so, civil engineering background, etc., going through the ringers there, and then you've created innDex from scratch. So what's the inspiration? What were you seeing day to day that you just went, I can change this? That there's definitely a better way of doing this.
Yeah, like, so it's a funny story. Okay, I wasn't like a tech person at all. Like, I'd never video gamed as a child. Like, I was a farmer's son. I was always out playing in the field or whatever. um Came into construction, would always have my diary there and would be writing it, pen and paper. So
Yeah.
it makes no sense what I'm doing now. But I was down on a construction site, crossroad job, pen and paper, biggest project in Europe, and just thought, this is absolutely ridiculous. I do everything on my phone. Like, I'm literally, that's all I use. I almost don't even use my laptop that much anymore. And I was just thinking, why can't we just do this on my phone as well? Like, why can't I just do an induction on my phone? So that's where it all started. Banging heads with Aaron. You know, he was like, I do this 3 times a week. You know, it was just ridiculous. And yeah, that's where it all started, really. So it doesn't really make any sense, but
I suppose it's similar to what we're seeing a lot in the sector, is that huge industry, oldest industry in the world that we're always talking about, but nothing's really moved forward because it's always, the job's always got done to one degree or another. And it takes something quite different to come in to change it. So when you were banging heads together, who was the most tech savvy to begin with then?
Aaron is definitely, and he's still the product owner. You know, he
Yeah.
still is the man with the brains behind it all, and I am very much the sales, the marketing, the sort of, yeah, doing all that side of it, and chatting a lot of shit, really. A lot of people say that about me, so I'm not afraid to say it myself. So yeah, like, but him too. You know, he wasn't. He was, you know, before he was like into his art and stuff like that. Then he came in, like, he like nearly did medicine at uni, then ended up not doing that and doing engineering. He
Yeah.
was a year ahead of me, but actually, yeah, did like a foundation, came into it. We were both then the same year once I did my year in industry, you know, and we'd always been like, you know, we need to start business and stuff like that, but never really like figured out what it was going to be until suddenly, you know, that day and that conversation happened. And, you know, it was just one evening. I think it was like a Tuesday night or something like that. And we were both working down. I was Bond Street and he was Tottenham Court Road. I think we just met after and we were just like chatting crap as usual, and just said, let's go and do something. We were just lucky enough that we had another mate at the time who knew about technology and knew how to, you know, bring together a development team and scope up and wireframe and do all this sort of stuff. So he sort of, you know, gave us a bit of a hand and gave us that initial start, helped us find our development team and things like that. And then Aaron sort of took the reins of that, and we were both like very product centric to start off with. Of course we were, because we had no customers, so what else were we going to
Yeah,
do?
of course.
And then we started getting a few customers, and then suddenly we could like pay a few bills, and then yeah, just sort of built it from there, really.
No, yeah, that's brilliant. And where in this journey did you kind of go, what have we started? Because we know that that must have happened. Was it day one? Was it like month 6 when you're still looking and you're product centric and you've got no revenue coming? Where was the bit where you're just looking and going, well, really?
So we're about 6 years in now, and probably sit back, you know, still even once a month and think, what the hell? Now, honestly, like, you know, the first 18 months was hard. We both actually like left our jobs when we had a couple of clients and thought, yeah, we can do this, and we didn't raise any capital. And just thought, you know, it'll be fine. We'll work it out. We'll just get a few more clients, and then we'll be able to pay the bills. About 6 months later, after that, we were like, right, okay, we need to go and pay those bills. So started doing a bit of consulting and things like that, sort of on the side to fund the building of the product. And then I would say probably another 6 months after that before we were like, actually, we can afford to pay ourselves, not very much, like very limited amount for probably the first, I'd say maybe even 3-4 years, something like that. And yeah, and step away and be full time in the sort of the role. So yeah, it's only been probably a couple of years that, you know, we're probably not even back to the salaries that we that we would have been on if we just remained as civil engineers doing our thing, you know.
You're having more fun this way though, aren't you? It's got to be.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
that is what it's all about, John. That's why you get out of bed, right?
Yeah, exactly. No, of course. And I suppose with this as well, then, in aspects, so we're building this up. I think the brand's loving the logo and everything. Especially, I love the twist of Digital Construction Week for innDarts, because after the
That's
competition,
only because
I
you
was like, oh,
won.
I'm gonna no, but I was gonna post, oh yeah, I'm the innDarts champion, thinking I'd come with the slogan, and then I looked at the photos of the board and it said innDarts on it already. So I couldn't even be original with what I was trying to do there.
Class. That's good. That's good. Oh, we'll have to just do a post about that. That's nice. It was cemented in your mind without you even realizing it.
Yeah, genius marketing there, genius marketing. And what do you think's been the biggest learning curve for going through this? Just completely starting this from scratch off the back of an idea, banging your heads together in central London.
Biggest learning curve. Biggest learning curve. I think like one of the biggest things is that construction is huge, but yet so small. And realizing that quick enough is, that's golden. You're only probably one or two conversations away from talking to the right person, or at least the person who knows the right person. So that's crucial, and we've been really lucky that we knew that early. We had a good understanding of the sector and the people in the sector, and it's been great. And that's why we don't have a sales team. It's we build the business and we grow our business through referrals and through just leveraging networks and things like that. So that's probably like the biggest like positive thing that we've learned. I think the biggest sort of negative thing is that it's slow. Like it is a lot slower than we anticipated, and I think we even knew it was slow because we knew the sector. I've got a lot of mates around me who we discussed it being slow, but don't think they quite realised how slow. And there's been a lot of money raised, as you know, in the industry, and it's concerning how that money's been used in some respects. Some have done absolutely fantastically, but a lot have spent and probably not got the value from that spend, which has been great to sort of learn from almost like an outsider's point of view.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Do you think that's been quite key for you to be able to look at that with the outsider's perspective and look back and go, well, this approach works with us because we've come from the sector. We've not just tried to fix a problem that we've not seen hands on, but you've been able to have that slow build out, rely on the network and the referrals, and go with the pace that was kind of expected rather than having, that Series A hanging over your head.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that we've had is that we've had to get product market fit, because if we didn't have product market fit, we didn't have any money in the bank to be able to go and hire a team. So, the market's slow, and in a way that's aided us. We've been told over the years, George, why don't you just go and raise some capital and go and blow this up? And we're like, shit, should we? Maybe we should. Maybe we should be going out and like raising a load of money and doing this and sort of like, having those conversations and not doing it and being a bit reluctant to do it with no real founding other than, well, it's worked okay so far sort of response, which is not what your VCs and your people like that want to hear. Like that's just not the attitude they want. Which has probably been a blessing, because we have talked to different VCs and people like that, but never gone to the stage of actually doing anything meaningful with them. But now, we talk to people who we're mates with and are in the sector and have been for years, and they turn around saying, bloody hell, I wish we did it your way. That's you've ended up actually, you're doing all right now, aren't you? And you've got a stable business that isn't burning loads of cash. I think it all goes in cycles, right? It'll be back in the heyday again soon, and everyone will be raising a load of money and spending it, and there will be a portion of them who do really, really well out of it, and that's great. But there'll also then be the same cycle again happening. So I don't think that we're either right or wrong. I think just right now it looks good.
Yeah, and I think it's just a good fit for how you've built it as well. And everyone loves to see that story of, no, we've just done this. Okay, we've built it. we've built this up gradually, we're in a solid place now. We then may look at the next steps, maybe new territories, etc. But it's always nice to see that company just had it switched on from day one, essentially, and we're able to grow purely based on market fit rather than it being the next big name or the next big thing.
Yeah, yeah. I wouldn't say switched on. I think that's.
I'm giving you some credit. Come on, it's got to be a positive spin in everything.
No. I agree. I agree. You know, it's great, and we're really proud of that. And I think it's something that, as a team, is really important to us as a whole, because every time someone comes into the team, they feel as though, and not speaking on their behalf, but I feel as though they think, I'm coming into this team that has built itself from the ground up, and I want to add value to it, and I want to help it go to that next level. And that excites me, and I think it excites everybody. When we have our team days, everyone's very passionate to see where this can go. Lots of our people who we bring in have that construction experience and knowledge, like as you know, and we feel as though those roots and those foundations make it really, really exciting. And I listened to, it was something I was listening to this morning as a podcast, and it was talking about having that understanding of the industry before you going into it. And I think you don't need 100% of that, but so long as you've got a portion of that in your business, you obviously need other skill sets as well brought in and mixing up. But that's it's exciting to see people who are actually from the industry changing the industry. That's cool, right?
No, it's great. I mean, you've got yourself, the pair of yours background, and then there's other companies, etc. When you see someone who's been through the thick and thin and done, the decade or so in it, and has come in and then is making meaningful changes, you see it straight away, and you go, well, you really feel there's value in this, because they've come back to an area where something's probably frustrated them, pen and paper, just using your phone afterwards, and that's all you've got to manage all these aspects. To come in and make something that's going to change it it's good to watch. And I suppose when you're bringing people in, they're going to have a feel when you're doing your away day. It's almost like an ownership of what they're doing. They're really part of something that is making this change, and it has that very down to earth feel. I assume, not speaking for you or your staff's behalf, but I could imagine it's that down to earth feel that you're all in the same boat here trying to make these strides.
Definitely. No one's got a voice louder than anybody else, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, it's very much, we sit in a room and we throw stuff at the wall, and if it sticks and people say, yeah, I actually really like that, it goes on the development list. And this is crowdsourced, like, developments as well. So, like, we sit down with every client and we say to them, what's good, what's bad, what do you think the future looks like? Like, that's what we're doing with every single client. And that just allows us to actually say, well, yeah, this is really good. We've completely missed that as a concept and being of value. We know that there's a problem, and we start this business because there's a problem. We don't know everything. We can't even scratch the surface as to what the problem is. But if we can use the power of everybody else's knowledge and channel that without it becoming a development list of 15,000 different developments, which is great for product. They love that. Aaron, being the product owner, he's pulling his hair out thinking, is this ever going to end? But in terms of getting the product that actually people want to use and people get value from, it's golden. It's really exciting.
Yeah. I mean, it's that voice of the customer aspect, isn't it? If you can listen to what the people who are giving you your revenue, or potentially about to give you the revenue, what they actually need, and that falls within not diluting your product, but falls in line with what you're doing, that's just a success factor, quite frankly.
Yeah, no, exactly. And they feel ownership of it as well, which I love. Like, I love the fact that they're like, yeah, we're part of that. And like, I would have loved to have been in that situation when I was out there on site and I'd fed back to a software company and said, what do you feel about this? This is maybe valuable. And if they had gone away and done that and then given it back to me and, educated the rest of the world on why this is valuable, I'd have been like, that's pretty cool. I was part of that.
And let's not forget, we're getting that brand loyalty there as well, which is hugely important. You got that, you've got that influential person who obviously enjoys what they're using, can see the value that you have in them by making those changes. That's hopefully a sticky client for life. And they're getting the value for it for the rest of their careers there as well. So what are the plans? What are you moving to next? Not products, no secrets, but what's coming in the next year or so for you guys?
next year or so. So, I mean, we've been in terms of like markets and things like that, you know, we are obviously like our main revenue is coming through the UK market. We've got lots going on in Europe at the moment. The data center scene is huge. So we've got loads going on there. We're doing, you know, a fair bit over in the States now as well. So we've probably been operating in that market. I would say, you know, initial project went in there maybe 2 years ago, and then we've built that up sustainably. So that's, you know, really exciting market for us. There's talks about a couple of projects coming up over in Saudi and things like that, which, you know, is a territory that I've never even, you know, I've never even been to the Middle East. So, you know, that's another exciting opportunity. So that's in terms of like geography. You might have seen like we've brought on like some really exciting new faces to the team recently, and that's, you know, we're buzzing just to have more energy, and whether it be in the room or even just on the WhatsApp groups and the Slack channels and things like that, just bringing that new sort of like, yeah, we're ready to rock, you know, and bringing new ideas. I'm adding more value. Like that's really cool, and we got some big plans for bringing and developing the team further, bringing more in. As I mentioned to you earlier, we've got our 5+1 year anniversary coming up. So
Happy 5+1.
that's going to be exciting. So yeah, no, there's lots going on. Yeah, it's exciting.